Protesters in Washington, D.C. last night after that grand jury decision not to indict Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson. Shortly after that decision was announced, President Obama addressed the nation, striking a hopeful tone while the situation on the ground was anything but.
It means working to train officials so that law enforcement conducts itself in a way that is fair to everybody. It means enlisting the community actively on what should be everybody's goal, and that is to prevent crime.
Today, Congress is reacting to the administration's moves, with Democrats from Claire McCaskill to Elijah Cummings pointing to the administration's Department of Justice still pending investigation. Congress also still reacting to yesterday's forced resignation of Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel. A lot for the White House to deal with right now. Joining us to talk about both of those big stories, Democratic Senator Bill Nelson of Florida, senior member of the House Armed Services Committee on the Senate side. Thank you so much for being here, sir. First, I want to talk about this story in Ferguson. As a longtime Democrat, how has Missouri Governor Jay Nixon handled the situation in that state? Was there a failure of leadership, as some are charging today?
Ronan, I can't speak to that. I can speak to the policy, and I would first of all agree with the president in calling for calm. I would also agree with the president that we need to look beyond the immediate and what are the conditions in this country that is causing so much strife. And I think if you look at our history, we've had a very stable country, one of the rule of law, because we've always had a large middle class and an aspiring middle class. And when we start dividing and America becomes two Americas, with the very well-off and the very unwell-off, then we're going to continue to have clashes. You've seen that in the tax policy. You've seen that play out in the immigration issue. You're seeing that play out in social policy. And that's what concerns me about the future of our country and our direction. And obviously very interesting to get your take, since the last time we saw this kind of national unrest in response to a court decision was coming out of your own home state, the Trayvon Martin decision. I want to, while I have you here, also get your take on this search for a new defense chief, since you, in your capacity on the Hill, will be involved in a lot of those conversations. President Obama now looking for his fourth defense secretary in 6 years. That's the count we're at now. And the rift between Secretary Hagel and Obama's inner circle, we're now learning, may have surfaced back in October after he sent National Security Advisor Susan Rice a two-page memo, a very blunt one, where he criticized the administration's Syria policy. The New York Times reporting this, that he warned that the administration's Syria policy was in danger of unraveling because of its failure to clarify its intentions towards President Bashar al-Assad. So my question to you is this, Senator. How will Hagel's departure affect the Obama administration's national security going forward over the next 2 years? Well, hopefully it won't affect it very much, because we've got a lot at stake. I mean, look at ISIS. They're saying they're not going to rest until the black flag of ISIS is flying over the White House. I mean, this is serious business. And ISIS is not just in Syria, it's in Iraq as well. And it wants to dominate the world with a new caliphate. Let's get back to Hagel. First of all, Chuck Hagel is a friend of mine. He's a patriot. He was a hero in Vietnam. He's been a good Secretary of Defense. I am saddened by his departure. But when you say 4 Secretaries of Defense, well, look who they were. Very good ones. Bob Gates, and then Leon Panetta. And then now Chuck Hagel. And although there's some friction between Hagel and the White House inner staff, this should not diminish the very good service of Chuck Hagel, and that's why I'm saddened.
Senator Bill Nelson, fascinating to get your take, and I apologize. I wish we had more time on this breaking news day with all of this happening in Ferguson. I hope we can continue this conversation soon.
Certainly.